Welcome back, fans. Obviously, my name is TayVikes28. We are back here for the Toronto Huskies franchise. Now, for those of you that got to tune in last week, we got to see us absolutely get demolished in week number 3 against the New York Jets. They wiped the floor with your hometown Huskies, and it didn't look pretty. Offensively, we scored 5 points. It was absolute letdown. Fitzpatrick could not get the offense going. We had a decent running attack, but the problem is Jamal Adams. He forced a ton of fumbles. He was all over the football field, and we had no counter to that. And then defensively, our defense was on the field about 45 minutes of that game, so there's not much they could do after a while. They let up 27 points. And obviously, before that, in week number 2, we got our first ever victory in franchise history. So right now we're sitting at 1-2, and as you can see, I started going through and scouting some of the players. Last we left off, I hadn't done any of that. Now I'm not going to show you guys until later in the season because I still have to edit the players and put in some of those guys that I talked about that got left out in the last draft class. And then looking at the standings here, we are pretty much going to be bottom dwellers after this week, unless the Titans happen to lose. And pretty much, if we don't turn this thing around quick against the Vikings here in the upcoming game, it's not going to be looking too good. I also have a guest here for us in this episode. Now, obviously, my name, TayVikes28. My co-broadcaster here is going to be Real Deal Neil45. How's it going?
It's a pleasure to be here, Taylor. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're going to have a little broadcasting duo here to start up in week number 4. Now, it's not going to be an every week thing, but it will be occasionally throughout each season. We'll probably have him come on. And against my favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings, this upcoming week. So why don't we get ahead and advance this and see what we can expect here in week number 4. Now, obviously, with the situation right now, I've heard some rumors, Parker. My insider on the record, Reese Recker, he actually, I'd heard from him that things are changing right now for this Toronto Huskies team. There are some whispers that a certain player on the roster may not want to play football anymore. He's just not feeling like that is where he wants to go for the rest of his career moving forward. And more than that, I heard there's might be some legal trouble upcoming for one of the players on this Huskies team. We'll have to get into that at some point during this broadcast. But first things first, let's get in here and upgrade my players. And we have Floyd Ellis, obviously the best player probably on our roster outside of, well, honestly, he's probably the best player on our roster, period, because he's been playing the best. And he has obviously the number 1 and first ever draft pick for this Toronto Huskies franchise. He is a monster in the middle and has been getting after both rushers and quarterbacks this season. So we're going to just go ahead and keep putting points into what he does best, and that's stopping the run.
Yeah, I like the way Floyd Ellis looks at the beginning part of the season. You need that presence in the middle, whether it comes from a rookie or a veteran. If you can't stop the run, you're not going to win football games.
Exactly. Speaking of not winning football games, we have the Minnesota Vikings up next, and this is in Minnesota. Now, we started off the season at home at the Den with our first ever game. It was a loss to the Browns, and it didn't look very pretty, so I'm going to real quick jump into this game while I keep talking here. And it didn't look very pretty, but there were some pieces to build on in that first game, I have to say, because we were able to, limit this high-powered Super Bowl contending Browns offense to only 24 points, which I think that's a good sign for the future. And real quick, I do have to check to make sure. I was going to change the settings here, make sure I did change the quarter length. All right, we were getting the incorrect stat lines for the number of plays. So, but anyways, as I was saying, and then in week number 2, obviously we had the Titans, beat them, and we kind of dismantled them. Now, Ryan Tannehill did go down with an injury in that game, so that's part of the reason, but I have to say, right now, this Toronto Huskies team, they're fighting with a lot of passion. They're clearly overmatched in every matchup that they're in, but the thing is, they're fighting. They're a gritty team. That's what's keeping them in these football games. Now, last week they were in this thing all the way through halftime. There was only a 7-point game at halftime, and then it just fell apart in the final quarter. So hopefully we can turn things around here against Minnesota.
I think a key matchup is going to be limiting the turnovers here. Harrison Smith is a game wrecker on defense for the Vikings. He hits the guy the right way, that ball's popping out.
Yeah, I can attest as a Vikings fan that is true. What's interesting about this Huskies team, ironically enough, limiting turnovers, and with the exception of last week, that has not been a problem for them. They have no interceptions to date. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing some really clean football. Here in US Bank Stadium, that is not the commentating team. That's Tay-Vikes 28 and Real Deal Neil 45 for you. Much better commentating team than what they can put together. So as you can see, we have a couple of new names on that Vikings roster, including DJ Chark, which they signed this offseason. I thought that was an interesting signing for them. With obviously they already have Adam Thielen. Now, in this realm, they don't have Justin Jefferson. All right, he's on the Carolina Panthers. So it is Adam Thielen and DJ Chark.
They just decided to go out and get another LSU product.
Yeah, exactly. And then Kirk Cousins is still the quarterback. Kyle Rudolph is still in town. Dalvin Cook. So they got some pieces on this Vikings offense. Defensively, they have a lot of those veteran players. All right, last week, as you can see, Dalvin Cook had a pretty good week. Didn't break that 100-yard mark or get into the end zone, but he was pretty consistent. We know what Dalvin Cook can produce in the NFL. The question for me is, can this Huskies front, 7 stop this rushing attack?
Yeah, that would be the big question of the day. The Vikings offensive line, they've been able to open up holes for Cook at the beginning part of the season. But let's see if Floyd Ellis can be a game changer here today.
Exactly. All right, we're starting this thing off. And the Toronto Huskies kick this football off to start the game. Minnesota gets it in the end zone for a touchback. Now, I'm curious. We see Kirk Cousins coming onto this football field, and number 8 is been up and down this season. He's had a couple interceptions, but he's had 4 touchdowns, almost 600 yards, but the completion percentage isn't quite there, So I'm wondering, what Kirk Cousins are we going to get? Are we going to get the turnover-filled Kirk Cousins, or are we going to get the guy who is consistent and does not turn the football over? And they're going with it was supposed to be some sort of a read option here.
Looked like a failed RPO.
It was Efedi Adenabo getting in the backfield there. He has been very good for us. He actually had a scoop and almost score against the Titans 2 weeks ago. And it was pretty interesting to see that man rumble down the football field. But he's getting a little revenge on his former team here in the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, he just pushed Kyle Rudolph back into Kirk Cousins. He didn't even make really the tackle himself. It was more Cousins running into him. But here comes Dalvin Cook making a jump cut, picking up a nice 9 yards, getting a lot of that first down yardage back.
Yeah, now at 3rd and 4, this is where this Huskies team has really suffered this season on 3rd down. And once again, it looks like a completion on the right-hand side.
Close.
It depends on, and they spot it short. All right, DJ Chark wearing number 17, shades of KJ Osborne out there. And I have to say, that was a questionable spot. But
it did look like he came back to make that catch. I'm not sure where the line to go was, but whether or not, it was a good play defensively.
Yeah, that was the rookie, actually. Branch, that's our number 2 corner behind Logan Ryan. I'm excited to see what he can do for the future. And a really booming punt here from this Minnesota Vikings team. Puts it into the end zone for a touchback. Starting this drive out, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the owner, the legend himself. Look at that season from Ryan Fitzpatrick to start. He doesn't have the yardage that we expect, but he has been playing turnover-free football. He hasn't fumbled, he did fumble last week for the first time, but he hasn't thrown an interception yet this season.
Yeah, I'm interested to see here how they handle the front 7 of the Vikings. They have some elite pass rushers here. They run the ball,
Patrick Laird.
That's a first down for the Huskies here. Patrick Laird picking up 10.
And that's something that we haven't seen so much from until last week against the Jets, ironically, in a game that they really got dismantled in. The rushing attack, though, was playing pretty well for this Huskies team. So I don't know if that's something that we can expect for the future or if they're going to just have a one-off game. I'm curious because Patrick Laird has been pretty consistent so far this season. He hasn't been getting a lot of tackles in the backfield.
And he made it to the second level there before even being touched.
All right, about 9 minutes left on this first quarter, and it's going to be a fake, and then a throw to the left-hand side, dangerous throw, and I believe that might be, I don't know if that's Mackenzie Alexander on the outside, number 24, I can't tell from here, but you can see this offensive unit, young offensive line there, and we've got some playmakers and a veteran presence at tight end with Delaney Walker. Tell us a little bit of what you can expect from Delaney Walker and what he does for a team.
Well, he's just one of the more sure-handed tight ends in the NFL, and he also has a really nice blocking component to his game, helps seal the edge a little bit. But what I'm interested in is his red zone capabilities. I think he's going to be a really nice target down there for Fitzpatrick, and it looks like he hits him up here on third down, making that connection for first.
Yes, ironically, it
right
is
on
him.
cue.
And I believe, actually, it looks like Demarius Randall got signed to the Minnesota Vikings this offseason. He must be one of the safeties in the back end.
Yeah, nice play there by, looks like Holton Hill was 24 you're talking about. So nice play by Delaney Walker, though, coming across the middle there for the first down, making sure that he was ahead of that first down marker when catching the ball. But we've got eye for him here. It's a nice handoff. Taken down for a gain of 5.
Yeah, I believe that is Josh Kelly, or John Kelly. I always say Josh Kelly. It's John. And we see this Vikings defense, a lot of veterans here. And I'm kind of curious how this defense kind of gets put together. Some young pieces in the secondary, though, but the middle of the defense is all veteran presence.
All right, we have trips left here. Fitzpatrick back, handing it off to Laird again. He gets stopped behind the line. A nice gang tackle there with Dean. Looks like Aaron Lynch, and Eric Kendricks there. 3rd and 7. The longest third down that the Huskies have been confronted with so far on this drive.
Yes, and that's part of the issue with the Huskies this season is they aren't getting those early yards to get into manageable situations. A lot of these third downs they've been confronted with are longer third downs. We haven't seen a lot of passes down the football field from them this season. So I want to see if Fitzpatrick can push the envelope today down the football field and get some completions. And he looks right here, drops back, finds a guy over the middle, but is not able to make the catch. That is Patrick Laird, who's been a receiving threat this season out of the backfield.
And that would have been well short of the line to gain regardless. I'm looking for C.D. Lamb to make a play on the outside on one of these third and longers. It's just the fact of the matter that there's good coverage on that play.
Eric Kendricks, an all-pro linebacker, he just got his hands in there and made sure that there's no way Laird was going to catch that football. But C.D. Lamb, ironically, has had a pretty quiet season so far. He's made some catches here and there, but like I said, they just aren't getting the yardage down the football field for it to really matter.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty bad punt there by the Huskies as well. Decent field position here for the Vikings, where they could have been pinned inside the 15 or 10 yard line, but they take their second drive here from the 27.
It's funny because Matt Hack last week against the Jets had not one, not two, but 3 punts inside the 5 yard line last week, but not this week.
Probably just a fluke of a punt, but there's a big sack. Kirk Cousins goes down.
That is Rasheem Green on the sack. That is, I believe, his first sack of the season.
Yeah, he exploded off the edge here. Came essentially untouched. Brian O'Neill was not able to keep up with the pass rush there.
Yeah, well, I want to see some more from this pass rush of the Toronto Huskies, because so far this season, we've seen Adenabo get to the quarterback a few times, hurry some throws, and really Floyd Ellis in the middle. He's been the biggest playmaker on this defense.
There's a nice stop behind the line again.
Yes, Dalvin Cook, unable to make a guy miss there. That is Logan Ryan, the veteran, number 31, our captain of this defense.
third and a metric mile here for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I'll be interested to see what their strategy is, whether they try to get all of these yards or maybe they just hand it off and punt this ball away.
Well, they got three receivers to the right-hand side, so I'm going to assume they're going deep.
Looks like they do hit Adam Thielen over the middle, take him down. An 18-yard gain at that. Whew. Maybe 17. Either way, big play there for the defense.
Yes, and that is actually Lano Hill, who has been a very large, how do I say this without being mean, but problem for this defense this season. Lano Hill is just not cutting it out there at the free safety position. On the other end, though, we have Rashad Jones in the back end. He's been very good for this team. Actually forced some incompletions last week on some deep throws from Sam Darnold. Some of the only incompletions on Sam Darnold's day. Oh,
beautiful punt here by the Vikings. Nice coverage down the field as well.
See, those are the types of punts that we saw from Matt Hack last week. And I'm hoping... last week, two of the first 3 games from this Toronto team, both of which were in Toronto, were raining. So I think that affected the games a lot. A lot of inaccuracy from the quarterbacks on both sides in those games. I want to see, now that we're in an indoors environment, can Fitzpatrick have a little bit more accuracy moving forward?
Maybe giving the iPhone here is a straight handoff up the middle. Pushing forward with Daniil Hunter is John Kelly. Only picking up 4, but this is a more manageable second down now. Their playbook has opened up. They've got 3 receivers and checks to the left. They hand it up to Laird, though, up the middle for a gain of 3 or so. They're pretty close to picking up this first down.
At 3rd and 2, this is a better situation than that 3rd and 7 we saw earlier. I'm wondering, will they try and run the football a 3rd time? And they do, and they get it. That is Patrick Laird up the middle. That's why I like him. He's very hesitant when he runs the football. He doesn't just run into his offensive lineman. He'll sit there and wait behind some of these offensive linemen to make a move. That's what I've liked from him this season. Whereas other running backs I've seen, like even earlier this season, Derrick Henry, he just bowls into his offensive lineman.
A 4th straight handoff here for Laird. See, he puts a stiff arm onto Daniil Hunter, who's able to bring him down for a short gain here. But what I like about Laird, you're right, is his patience in the backfield. You know, we see that pay off with running backs like Le'Veon Bell. And even Jamal Charles in his prime. These patient runners who wait for the holes to open up find a lot of success.
All right, we got a bunch set to the left-hand side, but Ryan Fitzpatrick throws to the right for a first down. I'm not sure if that was Henry Ruggs with the reception. First reception on the day. Now, speaking of Henry Ruggs, I've been hearing some rumblings from Reese Recker and a few other reports out there that there might be some legal trouble for Henry Ruggs moving forward. I'm not sure how that's going to affect this team. We'll have to see what exactly the issue is. Have you heard anything, or what can we expect, or when can we expect to hear more information about that?
The league really hasn't come out with a statement yet, but I expect that to be issued once the DA comes forward with some more information about what's occurred. He had an incident out in Las Vegas recently, and we're just waiting to see more details. But it was an issue with a DUI, so clearly a major issue, but we'll have to wait to find more.
Yeah, we'll have to see once the report comes out. We will obviously let you guys know exactly what's going on. And there's another player that we'll have to talk about who may also be having some issues on this Huskies team, but we'll talk about him on the next offensive possession. A nice punt here. Can they get the stop? Oh, just barely getting into the end zone. That would have been a beautiful punt from Matt Hack there, but just a little bit too short, or too long, I guess.
Yeah, either way, 0-0 here heading into the waning moments of the first quarter. What I'm seeing from these offenses is a lot of safe play calling. I would like to see them take some deep shots down the field, as we see another Dalvin Cook rush for a loss of yards, a loss of 3. Lano Hill coming up from the safety spot.
Yeah, he's actually playing a lot better this game. This is his by far best game that we've seen from Milano Hill. The first two out of the first 3 weeks, we saw him get abused by some running backs, including Le'Veon Bell last week, who trucked him 3 different times and made him look like a little child out there.
All right, play action here for Kirk Cousins. He's got all the time in the world. He launches the ball down the field. That ball is almost caught by Adam Thielen. Great play by our defensive backs for the Huskies to knock that ball loose.
Yeah, let's take a look at this offense. This offensive line is mediocre at best for Minnesota. They have some playmakers with Kyle Rudolph, the veteran, Adam Thielen, a little bit of a vet now at this point in his career. And I'm wondering, when are they going to get some of these playmakers involved? They haven't been able to do so. And looks like Kirk Cousins is running for his life right now. Gets sacked. That is Fede Adenabo. I'd say the revenge game is real right now.
Absolutely. And we're at 4th and 23. Looking like prime New York Jet football right about now.
Hey, the New York Jets last week looked a lot better than this.
But that's going to basically conclude the first quarter for us here from US Bank Stadium. A 0-0 tie. Is it a case of good defense or bad offense?
Well, I actually think that it's good defense from the Huskies and bad offense also from the Huskies, if that makes sense. So both of it falls on to the Huskies, in my personal opinion. That was CeeDee Lamb with the return. Short return, gets out to the 34-yard line to start this drive.
Sending a man in motion. Fake on the jet sweep there. Hand up to Laird, who takes it. Makes one man miss. It's a gain of 5 or 6. Real nice rush for Laird, who's approaching 40 yards on our game today.
Yeah, not bad. Like I said, I've been thoroughly impressed with him. He actually won the job during the preseason, ironically, because he wasn't expected to be the starter this year. It was expected to be John Kelly, and then everything kind of switched around. John Kelly wasn't getting it done in the preseason, and Patrick Laird, both with his pass-catching ability, as well as, obviously we saw it on display right there, as well as his rushing ability. He can do a little bit of both.
Yeah, having these dynamic playmakers in the offense is really going to help this young team. And we throw it out to right here. Hard to tell who that was. Either way, nice catch by Bonds.
Deontay Bonds. Yes. He had the first ever franchise touchdown in week number 1. Deontay Bonds, or excuse me, yeah, I think it was week number 1.
3rd and 5 here. Patrick Laird with another reception out in the flat. That didn't really do much. But third straight pass is complete over the middle, taking a hit. That's Henry Ruggs.
Yes, I've yet to see Henry Ruggs get to use his speed in this offense, which is surprising, but because we know that he has wheels.
Ironically, he does have wheels, Taylor.
We don't know for how much longer.
All right, here, first down. We finally have an offensive drive being put together by one of these squads.
Yeah, ironically, it's the Huskies, and we see another run here to the outside. That is Patrick Laird once again getting about 4 yards, and that's what has been really helping them on these drives is that first down run that gets 4 or 5 yards, and we got a batted pass. That was dangerous.
Yeah, that ball stayed in the air for what seemed like an eternity. Safely fell to the ground, though. 3rd and 6 from the shotgun. Fitzpatrick delivers the ball over the middle. That is incomplete. Intended for CeeDee Lamb. Looks like Eric Kendricks on the coverage there. Field goal time? This is a long field goal.
I think they will go for a field goal here. We've actually seen Josh Lambo hit from 40 this season. 40. Like from the 40-yard line.
Okay, I was about to be concerned. That wasn't a very impressive kick. If it was from 40 yards out. But looks like they do set up shot for a field goal here.
Now, this is going to be a longer field goal. That one from 40 was outdoors. But
he's doesn't seem like a problem.
He's got a big leg, Josh Lambo. So he has been a bright spot for this Huskies offense, especially considering the fact that if you look at some of these Huskies drives throughout this season, they've been able to get some yardage, but they haven't been able to finish those drives. So having a guy like him who can get those really long field goals and convert these drives into points, even if it's only 3, has been really helpful for this Huskies offense.
All right, Vikings coming back for an offensive drive that they look to put points on the board now. They've been sort of shut out by this fearsome front of the Toronto Huskies. They only have 4 total yards on this game, 2 rushing yards and 2 passing yards. Dalvin Cook on play action here. Kirk Cousins is going down yet again. Williams with the sack. That's the 3rd sack of the day for the Huskies. Kirk Cousins is seeing ghosts.
Yeah, and that is Quincy Williams, the star from last season. I think that he actually went after their running back and came back to sack the quarterback there.
I can't say I've ever seen that before.
That is some...
I don't trust Kirk Cousins to run an RPO.
Nah. This offense is just not working for the Vikings right now, and it's no wonder they're 0-3.
Yeah. Beautiful catch on the sideline. DJ Chark going up and taking it out of the air.
That was, I believe, our best player on defense, Logan Ryan, on coverage.
Yeah, let's see this absolute crime.
That was Logan Ryan.
Wow. Yeah, excellent play there by DJ Chark.
One-handed, too.
Going up and getting it, looking like Randy out there for the purple and gold. Best play of the day for the Vikings so far. Let's see if they can continue to push the ball into Husky territory. Cousins drops back, fires a pass to Dalvin Cook over the middle, taking care of that. It's a gain of about 5 or 6 yards here, breaking up 2nd down and 4.
All right, now we see another run, this time from Alexander Madison. Makes a man miss, but doesn't get much yardage at all on that one. Actually loses a yard.
Yeah, nice play there on the end by Harvey Clemens. Doing a really nice job to secure the ball rusher as Madison has some moves in the open field.
Yeah, he does. I think that he could easily be a running back that finds his way into free agency in the coming year or two and ends up getting signed somewhere other than Minnesota.
He might be tired of living in Dalvin Cook's shadow, and he stays on the field here for this 3rd and 5. Cousins drops back to pass, delivers a pass over to the edge here into the flat. That's going to be a 1st down for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, it was a nice play. I believe that was Trent Taylor, actually, who is a recent signing for this Minnesota Vikings team in this past offseason.
Cousins took a big hit on that play, but it was enough to move the chains for the Vikings, which is exactly what they need right now. Logan Ryan comes up to make a tackle. But this is the confidence that's needed for this Vikings offense to continue with this drive. Second and 10 here for the Vikings. Dalvin Cook back in the game. It's a quick screen out to Trent Taylor again. He's got open field on the sidelines. That's going to be a pickup of at least 15. Goes out as a rush, actually. 22-yard pickup there for the Vikings.
Yeah, that's ironically their biggest rush of the day. And it's not Dalvin Cook or Alexander Madison.
Yeah, the wide receivers who helped block really secured the edge there, allowing for Taylor to take that ball upfield without any roadblocks. Nice rush there by Taylor. Cousins is going to want to have that as a pass in the stat sheet.
He desperately needs it right now because right now this passing game hasn't been working too well. Outside of that nice play to DJ Chark, it's been pretty quiet.
Jet sweep here to Trent Taylor. They just keep feeding the man. Only a gain of 2 here. It's a nice stop there by the Huskies front.
And it's Quincy Williams on the tackle. Another rush here up the middle. That's going to be Dalvin Cook getting about a yard or 2. Not much room for him.
He runs right into Floyd Ellis there. 3rd down and 9. I think they go to the air here. And they do. Cousins has to drop back. Delivers the ball out to the right. That's going to be short of the lines of gain. Kyle Rudolph on the reception.
Yeah, that's a good stop for this Toronto Huskies team. And pending the field goal here, it will be a tie game, which, considering this has been the formula so far through every single first half, this season. I don't know why. It doesn't matter what team it is. We just can't score points.
Vikings are setting up shop for a short field goal here. This kick is up, and it is pure. Zane Gonzalez on the field goal.
Zane Gonzalez, who I think is another addition from this offseason. The Vikings went out and got some players, just not real big names.
Well, they got a lot of money wrapped up in Kirk Cousins, obviously.
That is true.
And they have a really good defense. There's got to be some money wrapped up there as well. But either way, you're exactly right. They got playmakers, but not enough of them are making an impact. Outside of maybe Trent Taylor for this game.
Yeah.
But let's see how the Huskies can respond here. What do you think they do?
Well, I think they're going to try and get a grueling drive here to take most of this clock to finish out this first half, because there's 3 minutes. That's plenty of time to take some time to run the football. But right here, they're going to pass it on first down. And, that was not a very good move from Ryan Fitzpatrick, stepping up into the pocket right into Michael Pierce.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick has looked uneasy as a passer today, which is kind of uncharacteristic of him. He's a very confident guy. Looked like it was a pretty good pocket. Looks like it was just good coverage down the field. You could have had a guy out there in the flat. But either way, a defensive coverage sack there for the Vikings.
Yeah, I thought he was going to step up there and throw the football, but it was ironic. Michael Pierce grabbed him, almost Jared Allen-like, against the Eli Manning Giants, and grabbed the sack while still getting blocked.
There's a short dump off to Delaney Walker. Not going to do much, though. Still 3rd and 5. 7-yard gain there.
It looks like it's going to be a 2-minute warning. They didn't get the snap off, but I think that's probably for the best, to be honest.
Yeah, go back to the huddle, figure out what you're going to do, get the first down. That's the important thing right here. Doesn't matter how, but you got to pick up the first down. You can't take a sack either. He's got all day in the pocket, and that's exactly what happens. Eric Kendrick gets home, taking care of Patrick Laird's pass blocking to get to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Well, to be honest, Patrick Laird did a really good job of picking up that blitz, and then he held him for a couple of seconds, but Fitzpatrick had no one downfield.
Maybe that's to a fault of Fitzpatrick, though. Maybe he held on to the ball for too long, being a little bit indecisive of what's going on down the field. It's 3rd down. It's not like you have an extra down to buy. All right?
And now we see the Minnesota Vikings offense come back out, and an opportunity to steal the lead here before halftime.
You get 2-minute drill here for the Vikings. The key here is to knock the sack for Kirk Cousins. Floyd Ellis, he's got Dalvin Cook's number today.
He has been really good against the rush this season. He's been able to stop Derrick Henry, Le'Veon Bell, and now Dalvin Cook. That's a pretty good trio.
Yeah, he's establishing himself as one of the premier run stoppers in the league. But the Vikings just pick up the first down. Cousins slings it out wide, but I'm not sure if he was in bounds. He was not. DJ Chark stepped out, bringing up 2nd down. Stops the clock, though.
Yeah. And here we go over the middle. We've got Trent Taylor again. He's just getting those short passes, and he's making the most of them. And so now, looking here on 3rd and 2, we've got 52 seconds left on the clock. And it's going to be another pass over the middle. I think that's going to be a first down for...
I think he came back for it. It is, yes.
30 seconds on the clock. And that's Adam Thielen with his 3rd catch on the day.
Cousins is putting together a decent stat line. 11 for 13, 97 yards. But still, I don't think he's doing enough as a passer to elevate them to the next level. Wow. Kicking a field goal here. This is a long field goal. It's going to be short, well short. What's the thought process?
I think it was they just used their last timeout right there because Adam Thielen got tackled in the middle of the field. And by the time that they got up to the line of scrimmage, I think they would have only had a couple of seconds. But I still would have went ahead and tried to at least get up there and maybe call a timeout when it was closer to 5 seconds.
They kicked the ball with 20 seconds on the clock.
Yeah,
so they could have run a play or so, but oh well. Fitzpatrick's going to fire a ball down the field. That's caught by Henry Ruggs. Gets the ball almost ripped out of his hands. 9 seconds.
Yes, that is the downfield passing that we have been waiting to see from this Huskies offense all season long. And they have an opportunity here. Well, they're already in field goal range.
He's got to get this ball off, though. Laird's got to be very cognizant of where the clock is. 3 seconds.
That was actually good play there to get out of bounds.
Yeah, they had timeouts to use, but now they can go up, kick this field goal, which is good, and take a 6-3 lead in halftime. Very
defensive
ball placement by Fitzpatrick on that throw to Ruggs.
Yeah, that was a really nice one, and the speed from Ruggs is what helped him beat the defense on that throw, because he was able to get behind the defense quick and then immediately throw his hand up, get Fitzpatrick to throw the football downfield. And here we go. Let's take a look here at halftime. Some games around the country. We got Miami going to Houston, and Houston is without Deshaun Watson right now for the first time this season. He got hurt in this game, and right now it is all Gardner Minshew.
Going into the Big D, Dallas, currently trailing the Cardinals 17-7. Looks like Dak's having an elite day passing, but something's going on with that Cowboys offense. 7 points with that squad. Give credit to the Cardinals defense.
Yeah, that would be a huge upset from the Cardinals. And now we're going over to Baltimore and Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson things. Ryan Tannehill is back for the Titans in this one, but they are down at halftime 10-7. It seems like Lamar is just throwing and rushing all over that team.
And we bring you back here to Minnesota. I think the moral of the first half was great defensive presence from the Huskies. Tell us more about the first half.
All right. Looking at the second half here, though, we got the kickoff, and it's going to be Toronto ball, an opportunity here, assuming they can get a touchdown to go up 2 scores in this ball game. That is something that I think would extremely benefit the Huskies, kind of get up the buck off their shoulder here in a sense, and just not have to worry so much about the Minnesota, this high-powered Minnesota. I know high-powered offense that has 3 points though, but they can score so quickly. We know the playmakers that they have. And right here on first down, it's going to be a pump fake and almost an interception. That was Holton Hill with the pick. That was a close one. Ryan Fitzpatrick just had a miscommunication with his receiver there on the outside. And now Fitzpatrick drops back to pass again and just airmails that one. Had a man open in the middle of the field, and he just misses it. It seems like Fitzpatrick is just not comfortable in this Minnesota environment. I wonder if it's the noise in this stadium. We got another throw here on third down, and it's complete for a first down and then some. All right, that is Henry Ruggs with his 4th reception on the day. He's reached 50 yards now, and that's a first down. Keep the ball moving downfield here. And Minnesota is currently sitting at the 45-yard line, an opportunity to get into plus territory here if they get another first down. And that is Holton Hill who comes up to make the tackle. But if we're being honest, I'm a little disappointed with the fact that this Toronto offense has not been able to do much. And we have Patrick Laird here getting stuffed in the backfield, down to 2nd and 12 now after that. I believe that, I'm not sure if that was... Yes, that is Michael Pierce making another stop for this defense. And while, I don't know if you saw earlier, but what did you think with the errant passes here to start this drive from Ryan Fitzpatrick? He airmailed a pass to a wide open receiver about 20 yards downfield, and then previously to that pass, he also missed a wide open receiver on the left-hand side that almost got picked by Holton Hill.
I think that just comes with some first half carryover. He wasn't perfect in the first half, and I think he's worried about getting sacked because he took a bunch of big hits in the first half, and maybe it's just a little bit of nerves. But hopefully here on third down, we can see some confident passing. He's got time in the pocket. He delivers a ball over the middle of the field that is caught. First down for the Huskies. That's going to be Bonds, the rookie.
Yeah, the big rookie here making a play, and that's the type of stuff we need to see, that downfield passing that hasn't been there so far for the Huskies this season. But I mentioned this earlier, is the noise, I think, is really affecting Ryan Fitzpatrick in this game. I think it's causing him to, not be able to make the checks at the line of scrimmage that he wants, ends up getting him into bad situations. I really think that the fans here in Minnesota are causing a really tough outing for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
They started this drive with the skull chant, and that's an intimidating factor for any player, no matter how long they've been playing. But Fitzpatrick delivers the ball over the middle of the field. That is caught in the face of Eric Kendricks. That's Delaney Walker, the veteran tight end, making his third grab of the afternoon.
And now they are finally over 100 yards passing. And that's something that Ryan Fitzpatrick hasn't done much this season, actually. Getting just to 100 yards last week, just barely. And now they already are at that point just coming out of halftime.
Yeah, and give credit to Walker there. That was a difficult catch.
And against a pretty good coverage linebacker as well.
I form here. Handing it off. Nope. Play action. Delivering a ball into the end zone. Oh, he had him. He had Bonds there for the touchdown. Just a misfire. Second and 10. They have plenty of chances here in the red zone for the first time today.
You got Patrick Laird in the backfield. They're going to fake it to him and throw it outside, and once again, he just misses his receiver. He's been overthrowing his receivers all day.
That looked like a miscommunication with Ruggs on the outside there. I think Fitzpatrick was anticipating him to head out towards the pylon, and that just didn't happen.
All right, on that third down, they do complete the pass to Keontae Bonds, but it does not get the yardage necessary. So it's 4th and 5 at the 9-yard line.
Yeah, I have a problem with quarterbacks throwing short of the line to go on third down. Unless there's like a clear path to pick up the first down for a receiver. Especially if throwing over the middle of the field. That's a tough sell for me. But we're going to have another field goal here by Josh Lambo. Much shorter than the previous two, but just as good. 9-3 is our score here. Toronto ahead of Minnesota.
Yeah, I really wanted them to get into the end zone here and make it a 2-score game, because so far from Minnesota, they have the opportunity to make big plays. We've seen it with DJ Chark making that big grab. We've seen Trent Taylor get some nice runs. So what exactly I'm afraid of is that it just takes one play from this Minnesota offense and the high-powered weapons that they have to just immediately get down the football field.
Yeah, hopefully they can put something together on this drive. They have so many elite playmakers. I think I want to see more play action from the Vikings.
That is what Kirk Cousins is known for.
Exactly. Let him, control the game that way. All right? And Dalvin Cook needs to get going as well. He's had a really tough day. Maybe don't run it right at Floyd Ellis like they did. Kirk Cousins taking off on an RPO here. Fooled me. Fooled the camera guy. Nearly fooled the Huskies. That's an 8-yard rush.
Yeah.
Captain Kirk.
I think that if Kirk was a little bit faster, that could have been a really big play, and they go for a quick pass here, and Adam Thielen is unable to make his guy miss.
Third and short here. Power football time here for the Vikings. Sending Irv Smith in motion. It is a handoff to Cook. He follows his block. He's got a hole here. That's a healthy run for the first down. Probably Cook's biggest rush of the day goes for about 7 or 8. First down, Lano Hill on the tackle.
Yeah, that I think is a situation where if he would have hesitated a little bit, let his blocker pick up that last block, he could have been off to the races.
But you know who still made the tackle at the end of the day?
Our failing safety.
Oh, well, yes, Lano Hill did, but I was about to say, Ellis was right there for cleanup crew.
Yeah, earlier this season, we saw, ironically, Floyd Ellis run down none other than Le'Veon Bell on a play. I believe it was actually last week. He literally ran Le'Veon Bell down and tackled him in a situation where it was full sprint against full sprint, and he ran him down.
First down here, we see DJ Chark making the connection, picking up 8 yards there on first down, bringing up second and very manageable, opening up the playbook of the Vikings here. maybe we see some play action now.
Yeah, this is a perfect opportunity for them to do it. Although they have Kirk Cousins in the gun here, and they're going to hand it off up the middle.
You know what? There's plenty of ways to pick up the first down in the NFL. Doesn't matter how you do it. That's a first down for Dalvin Cook, putting together a good drive for himself.
Yeah, you talked about Dalvin Cook needing to get involved into this offense and getting some more yardage, and that's exactly what he does. As the veteran Rashad Jones makes the tackle there for this Toronto defense.
Cousins with a quick pass. It looks like an RPO. Takes the pass in that RPO. Short game to Adam Thielen with his 5th grab of the day. Another
wide
quick
open
pass. Thielen running the wrong way though. That's very uncharacteristic of him. Not sure what he saw. Maybe he was anticipating the corner coming up, trying to make a move right off the get-go.
I think he was, and the corner actually hesitated for a second, which is part of the reason why he was a little late getting to the ball.
Yeah, but it actually turned out to work, for the rookie there. So, good play, bringing up 3rd down. It's borderline field goal range. I don't think they'd be kicking it from here. So they're going to need at least 5 yards for a field goal, 6 yards for the first, and they pick it up. First down, Minnesota.
Yeah, that's Tajay Sharp, actually, the ex-Titan, coming out here and making his first catch, I believe, in this football game.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of people involved in their offense, which I'd like to see. We haven't really called CeeDee Lamb's name much today. Henry Ruggs, Patrick Laird, and Delaney Walker have pretty much been the 3 guys. And Bonds, I guess. But to me, I think Cousins is spreading the ball out really well in this offense.
And speaking of Cousins, he gets another one here. This looks like Trent Taylor with another reception on the outside. Only 2 incompletions today from Kirk Cousins. He's been very accurate.
Yeah, but I think it's been safe. He's playing that Alex Smith style game where short passes, game manager. But still, if you're completing passes, you're doing something right.
Yeah, and that was a very powerful play there from Kyle Rudolph on the reception for first down. And here on first down, they hand the football off to Dalvin Cook, getting a couple of yards, getting it to 2nd and 6 now.
Shotgun here for Kirk. Hands it off to Dalvin yet again. Runs right up into the middle.
That is Josh Bynes on the tackle.
Well, Mike Linebacker coming up to make the play. 3rd down. I think they go to the air here. Very limited in what you can do for the depths of the field. But this is a Trent Taylor touchdown. Sound the horns. Vikings find themselves pending the extra point, taking the lead over the Toronto Huskies, 10-9.
Yeah, and that was a literal diving play from Trent Taylor to get into the end zone.
Yeah, he's putting together quite the day. Definitely not on your fantasy team.
No, I have to say, I think that Trent Taylor might have been one of the better signings for this Vikings squad, it looks like, this offseason. So good on them, and good on Trent Taylor to make some... He's a young player who can still develop for this Minnesota offense, and maybe he does.
Yeah, we saw him have some success in San Francisco, but I don't think that offensive scheme worked for him. It was a very run-first offense, and the Vikings are... they like to run the ball. However, we see Cousins as being a very accurate passer. Maybe they lean on that a little bit more to finish this game, and maybe throughout the season if it proves to be a winning effort.
All right, now we're going to take over here the Toronto Huskies after an Ashton Doolin return to the 25-yard line. Now, Ashton Doolin has had some mediocre success as the kick returner this season. Ironically enough, it's not his fault though. For some reason, he's almost too fast as the return man. He seems to be outrunning his coverage.
Yeah, you gotta have patience like a running back when you're a kick returner.
Oh, what a play here by Patrick Laird. If he didn't get tackled there, he could have been off to the races.
2nd and 2 though. That's the first down play that we need for the Huskies here. They give it right back to Laird. Shakes off one tackler, but can't get past the arms of Harris Smith. 1 yard gain there. 1 to go for the first down.
Looks like they're going to the air this time. Onto the flat. and going down the sideline, and he picks up a block. Oh my goodness. I believe that is, yes, the veteran Delaney Walker heading down the sideline with probably the biggest play for the Huskies so far in this game.
Yeah, he just kept going. Vikings weren't able to get the angle that they needed on the sideline to make the tackle. And we saw Delaney Walker, who has mobility still at 36 years old or however old he is.
I believe he is 36 or 37 this season.
But down goes Fitz. Eric Kendricks gets home with his second sack of the day.
That was almost a fumble there.
Yes, very close, however. He would have been down by contact. Still, though, untouched up the middle, sending the blitz.
Ooh, that was close. Because if you look, that ball actually hits the ground before he goes down. I don't know if they're going to... Looks like they aren't going to review it, so... And now another pass here on 2nd and 17. And what... Oh, almost a great catch there. And a pretty, daring pass there from Ryan Fitzpatrick. And looking at 3rd and 17 now with about 10.5 left on the clock here in the fourth quarter. They need something.
And that should be enough. Honestly, you claim the lead back. You're playing this cat and mouse game now. All right? But after this, no more field goals. You need to score touchdowns. Josh Lambo can't do it all.
Yeah, even in previous games in which Josh Lambo has kicked a decent amount of field goals, they've still found the end zone eventually. But it just hasn't happened here on this veteran Vikings defense.
Yeah, you can give credit to the defense. They have a very much a bend, don't break mentality. And Josh Lambo nails his 4th field goal of the day.
And that's a second one over 50 yards in this game. He's been absolute money this season. I think he's only missed 1 field goal, actually. And ironically enough, I believe it was at home in which it bounced off the upright.
All right, the ensuing kickoff here. Looks like that Trent Taylor makes one man miss at the 25, up to the 29-yard line. Taylor making plays in all aspects of this game.
Yeah, and that's why I think he's going to be a staple in this Vikings offense for a couple of seasons at least. Because they're able to use him in multiple ways, not just offensively, but in the special teams room as well.
A first down, we see a Kirk Cousins drop back. He's under some pressure. He delivers it to Dalvin Cook, who picks up the first down after shaking off a tackle. Kirk Cousins looking like a really good and efficient passer as this game is moving along. Still just 2 incompletions.
Yeah, this is very efficient football from Kirk Cousins, as he's found another receiver down the football field. I believe that is DJ Chark. He seems to be the guy who gets the big plays in this offense.
Yeah, Thielen's obviously his go-to guy. However, if you need a play down to stretch the field, get it to DJ Chark. He's a guy who's 6'4" with 4.3 speed. There's no reason to not get him the football.
Yeah, I absolutely love that signing for the Vikings in this previous offseason because they needed a number 2 guy opposite of Adam Thielen, and they were able to get, speaking of,
great defensive play there. Thielen if he could have shaken that off, could have been a touchdown.
Yeah, I don't know if that was Thielen. I think that was Dalvin Cook, actually.
Oh, you know what? It could have been. Could have been. But either way, a pass into the sidelines here. That's incomplete.
2 incompletions in a row. We haven't seen that yet this entire game from Kirk Cousins.
We haven't had an incompletion this half from Kirk Cousins until now. He stands in the pocket and delivers a ball to the left side of the field. That's going to be wrapped up short of the first down by several yards. DJ Chark with a catch.
That's gonna be a tough spot for the Vikings because right now they're right at the point where I don't think they can make this field goal.
They missed a field goal from a shorter distance earlier, and
they might try it again.
Can you trust your defense to make a stop? Because at this point, you've seen the Huskies drive down the field into points territory.
Looks like they are going to trust Zane Gonzalez here.
For what reason, though? He's done the same thing on 2 kicks today. Short by 10 yards.
Yeah, that one was pretty egregious, but I think that maybe they forgot. Maybe they tried to open the doors up in the stadium to get the wind going, and they just didn't get it open enough. I don't know, but I think that if that was last week, that would have probably been a made kick because we had some very crazy wind out there in Toronto last week. But here in the Vikings stadium here at US Bank Stadium, you have no wind.
Not at all. With 8 minutes left, it's too early to start burning clock. I mean, you can, but it's not an efficient means of football right now. Takes a big hit from Harrison Smith there, absorbs the contact very well. But, moving forward on this drive, what should the Huskies be looking to do?
I think that they need to just get, and no matter how they do it, get to the end zone on this drive. I don't care how you accomplish it, whether it be running, passing. I don't care if you have to do trick plays to get there. Whatever it is, and it looks like they're not going to get there.
Yeah, they turned the ball to John Kelly here. Excuse me. They're in plus territory, but this is not field goal range. This is probably punt at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that they need a good punt here, but I'm worried. Matt Hack has, from distance, he's been very good, but on these shorter punts, he's had some pretty errant punts.
Yeah, this one just sails into the end zone. And on those punts, you want to pin them deep. All right? If you're far back, a touchback doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
All right, but if you have the advantage and the means to do it, get them inside the 10-yard line.
And he almost coffin cornered that punt, but he just was a little bit off.
Right. And there's no way his coverage was going to get down there either, so maybe a little bit more hang time on that punt. But we see a big play here to Adam Thielen to open up this drive for the Vikings. And already they set up shop for some points.
Yeah, that's going to be over 200 yards passing for Kirk Cousins now, and the seventh reception for Adam Thielen.
They're having a tough time putting the lid on him today, and a lot of defenses do. However, you need somebody to step up. Maybe Logan Ryan. Somebody needs to push a turnover, maybe. The Vikings are a good offense. They're going to score points.
All right, another pass here from Kirk Cousins. He looks over to the left-hand side, and that's Dalvin Cook making a man miss and then getting out of bounds. Do you like the play to get out of bounds, or do you expect him to maybe take on some contact there?
I expected him to fight for those yards. But maybe his momentum started to carry him out. That's the only thing I could see. But it's Dalvin Cook. He's an all-class athlete. Fight for those yards.
All right, now it's 2nd and 2 for this Vikings offense at the 45-yard line of Toronto. They're going to drop back. Kirk Cousins over the middle there, and I believe that's going to be a reception for Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, very clean pockets for Kirk this half. I'd like to see somebody get home.
Yeah, well, they had some pressure early, but they must have made an adjustment at halftime across that offensive line, and they figured out this pass rush, and so far in the second half, they haven't been able to get to Kirk Cousins.
Shotgun here for Kirk. They've pretty much got a lot at their disposal right now because it doesn't seem like the Huskies can stop them.
No, they haven't been able to stop them, and it looks like they're starting to get into a groove here offensively. That's another Kyle Rudolph reception over the middle. Oh!
And there it is. Harvey Clemens gets home for his first sack of the day.
Yeah,
and maybe that's what this Huskies defense needs. Something to invigorate their spirits. They've been beaten and bruised on this drive.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they needed here because they sent everyone deep on that play. They wanted a shot down the football field, and they just didn't get it.
Yeah, maybe the refs didn't develop in time, or it was just a coverage sack. But however, that was the best thing that could have happened right there for the Huskies.
Now they're sending a 3-man rush, and it almost gets to Kirk Cousins, despite it only being 3 men. And you know who that was? Floyd Ellis again.
And Dalvin Cook didn't get both feet in bounds, so we have 3rd and 17. This is field goal range here. But let's see what happens. That's a first down and more. Irv Smith Jr. taking care of business.
Yeah, that is his first reception. The young tight end here for Minnesota. Possible replacement of the future for Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Irv Smith here. Taking on some contact there, pushing the ball inside the 10-yard line. And now they can settle it down, maybe run the ball.
Yeah, they have an opportunity here with only a couple of plays here. Obviously, it's first and goal, but they have an opportunity to run the ball, maybe get some clock off, and that's Kirk Cousins on the read option, and he goes into the end zone. That's a touchdown, Minnesota, and they take the lead here. Kirk Cousins rushing touchdown. I don't think that's something that very many people have seen that often, especially at this point in his career.
And maybe that's the perfect play call. So I'm going to throw the defense off entirely. But regardless, this extra point doesn't mean much now. 4-point game, 5-point game. What it does mean is that the Huskies need to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go for 2 there to make it a 6-point game. But it's not a great situation here for the Huskies. We need to see prime Fitz magic. Not Fitzpatrick. We need Fitz magic right now to win us this football game. All right, off this kickoff here, and once again, a move makes a couple of, not one, but 2 guys. He juked 2 of them out on that one move, and that is Ashton Doolin getting out past the 25 to the 27.
All right, what I need to see from this Huskies offense is Patrick Laird. Haven't seen him in a while. All right, let's get CeeDee Lamb involved. Let's get feeding the ball to Henry Ruggs. All right, we're in a passing situation. Let's see Kirk air the ball out. Offensive line, you got to protect them.
You mean Fitz?
Who did I say?
He said Kirk. And speaking of airing the football out, there is a play to the rookie Keontae Bonds, making plays when we need it most. He's been very clutch this season.
Yeah, that was just a really nice throw and catch from from Fitz to Bonds. What I liked is that it was in stride. He didn't have to come back for the ball. That allowed him to pick up those yak yards.
Yeah, he actually got about an extra 10 or 15 yards on that catch because of that. And not only that, but it was a smart play to get towards the sideline. He didn't get out of bounds, but he was in a position to possibly get out of bounds if he would have kept running.
A throw over the middle here, still taken down for a short gain. That's going to be Patrick Laird.
Yep, that's the guy that you mentioned. And now the clock is running with about 2:17. They hike the football. Fitzpatrick over the middle again, complete. Gets him 35. Close to a first down, but not quite.
And that brings us to our 2-minute warning. This third down is quite possibly one of the biggest plays we're going to have yet today.
It looks like they could run it here if they choose to, but I think it's going to be a pass.
Yeah, they send Laird out into the flat. Fitz drops back, clean pocket, delivers a ball to Delaney Walker, I believe. Bonds. First down for the Huskies. Fitz drops back yet again, delivers a ball over the middle. That is incomplete.
That was a nice play there. He had a man open there, made a pretty good throw, just let a little bit too much on it.
There's a slant route. That's going to be a healthy gain of 6
That's
or 7
Lamb.
to CeeDee Lamb. His second catch this drive. Finally getting the chance to call his name. Look out. That's Daniil Hunter getting home.
All right, they got to make some plays here.
I'm surprised they haven't called a timeout. Fitz got to pick up this 10. He picks, oh no! It's an incomplete pass.
Maybe it's a good thing they didn't use those timeouts.
They still have 3 of them. They can make a stop. However, everything has to go perfectly in order for the Huskies to win this game. They need a stop on 3 plays. And that was CeeDee Lamb. He had the ball, couldn't secure it. Holton Hill making a good defensive play to punch that ball out of CeeDee Lamb's hands.
Yeah, and he made the throw, you know. He got it right into the breadbasket, but it was just a nice defensive play.
All right. We should be expecting runs here from the Minnesota offense. and the Toronto Huskies need to make a stop, and that's going to take care of things here.
Well, it was a well-fought game for this Toronto Huskies entire team, really. But offensively, this has been the story of the Toronto Huskies this season, is just a lackluster offensive performance. And to be honest, I'm a little worried because I've heard some rumblings. We didn't mention it earlier, but Isaiah Wilson, the right tackle for this Toronto Huskies team, may not be playing any more football moving forward. I had heard some rumblings from Reese Rucker, our NFL insider, that he may end up quitting football here soon, depending on how things go. I guess it's a personal decision that he's dealing with. So I'm going to, want to see how that ends up panning out, because they don't really have a lot of great offensive line weapons. If you think, I know that weapons aren't really a word you usually use across the offensive line, but they are weapons.
Yeah, and let's give Wilson the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe some personal things are happening. Football is important to him, but taking care of yourself is the most important thing. But that's going to wrap it up here from Minneapolis. 17-12 is our final score. The Vikings taking care of the Toronto Huskies.
Yeah, that's going to be the Vikings' first win of the season. Maybe this turns their season around, this Minnesota team. Although, to be honest, they didn't look very good until towards the very end of this game. And it looks like they actually beat the Huskies in pretty much every category, but just barely. It seemed like they were almost like the same team for most of this entire game, really, until the very last drive or two.
Yeah, we saw some more creative play calling from the Vikings in the second half to sort of elevate their offense. All right, but the main thing is that Kirk Cousins remained an efficient passer through the main stretch of this game, and we saw him continually complete passes to multiple targets. Trent Taylor had a big game. Chark and Thielen did their parts. Really good game for the Vikings offense in the second half.
Yeah, I'm curious. So what are your thoughts on the idea? Obviously, we're out of this football game now. I'm going to do some of these upgrades for our team. But I want to ask you a question. What are your thoughts on the idea of having Ryan Fitzpatrick coming out and, for the first time ever, a player owning, a team in a sense, if you think about it, a current player owning a team and also playing on that team?
Well, a lot of people might say it's a conflict of interest. It reminds me a little bit of when Bill O'Brien was the coach / GM of the Texans. We saw how that worked. It didn't. All right, but there's something different with Fitzpatrick. You know that he is a reliable and trustworthy player, and man in general. So I think it's going to be a fine thing. But he's getting old. We're not going to have him around much longer.
Yeah, and you just saw two of the options that are currently on the Huskies offense or team, assuming Fitzpatrick may retire after this season. And I think that's part of the reason why he did this, is because I think he expects to retire after this year. But if he does, we have, obviously you see here, Philip Walker, PJ Walker, as he's known, as well as Josh Dobbs as two of the quarterbacks on this roster. And obviously they could draft a quarterback. They could also sign a quarterback. Do you think one of these guys already on the roster, though, should have an opportunity to start moving forward or not?
I think it's fine if they're competition, but they really haven't done much in the NFL. I think what Fitz is going to do is, scout some guys or, sign somebody in free agency this offseason to be the expected number one, and then they can fight it out in camp.
All right, hopefully that ends up being the case, but obviously we love Fitz while he's on the team here, and I think he'll be a great owner moving forward once his playing days are up. But I believe this wraps up here, week 4 for me here. Obviously, my name is Tayvikes28. My co-commentator here, co-broadcaster, is Real Deal Neil 45. Go check him out on YouTube. He's got some stuff up of his own. You can go check out some of his series. And maybe he'll be coming back later this season at some point for another episode. But for now, This will be me signing off. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.